What's going on, my peoples, man? We back for another one. Today's topic, man, I wanted to talk about what they don't tell you about college. There are 3 things that if you're not aware of it, it could hit you like a damn freight train. And these 3 things that they need to tell you when you enroll in college are: watch your physical health. 2, watch your mental health. 3, keep up with your grades. Because if you go down either or one of these rabbit holes, it could lead to depression. Okay? Now you're probably saying like, oh, wait, what you talking about, man? Like, huh? What, it's all good. I'm gonna go into all this for y'all. Okay, so to start off, what they don't talk about in college is like when a person comes to college, they come to college to get the experience, learn a skill, get a degree, and find themselves essentially. You finally out on your own. You really seeing what you're about. You're meeting the people. Everyone's kind of starting over, and you just kind of finding yourself, and you also learning at the same time, which is totally cool. I have no problem with that. In previous videos, I talked about how college helped me grow, and I talked about even how being a life of the party sometimes can show you that you got certain skills that if you hone in on them, you can move forward and use them in the professional world. So I'm not making this video to trash college. I'm making this video to talk about the things to be aware of, because if you're not, and you let yourself go down the rabbit hole of these things, you can easily be out of weight, in depression, or flunk out. And I think these things to be talked about. But let's just get into it. So to start, college, like we said, it's supposed to be a good time. But sometimes the good time can hurt you. It can hinder you. You got all these freshmen coming into school. They're finally on their own. Half of them are probably from well-off families, so they don't feel the pressure sometimes to succeed as much as probably the kids who taking on the debt themselves, the kids who don't come from well-off backgrounds where they know it's either this or back home in the hood or back home in the small rural town that has no business, no development, and there's a lot that can weigh on your shoulders. But to get into it, I want to just kind of stay on track here, and I want to talk about the party lifestyle. Coming from a dude who been through the party lifestyle, I want to tell y'all that there are a lot of ways to fall off on trying to be the man, be the girl, be that popular kid that everyone comes to for the event, for the functions, for the moves. Being this person can be mentally draining on you and your inner self. You lose a sense of peace. You kind of start to just be the yes man to everything, and you're not really putting yourself first, and that can lead you down the three paths that I told you to watch out for. And that can lead you down the path of failing out your classes, gaining weight or becoming out of shape, and lastly, your mental health, becoming depressed. I noticed these main 3 things that I went through in college that almost, if I didn't find the strength to turn it around, almost could have led me to falling off and just being out of shape and being a depressed person that's just never happy and never optimistic about life. So the first story I want to get into is failing out of class, flunking out of class. My sophomore year when I came to school, actually, to say it like this, my sophomore year, I started to make friends, and I actually started to become popular my sophomore year. The summer of my sophomore year, I got a name for myself, and I just remember I was always somebody that people looked for when it was time to go do stuff. So safe to say I always had people around me, and I always knew where the moves was at, and it was fun. That sophomore semester, at the end of it, I flunked out. Not flunked out, but I failed majority of my classes. I had C's, D's, and I think I even had an F on the class because all I was doing on my Monday through Sunday was making sure that I was having a good time. Now, in my defense, this is my first time being outside the hood in an environment that was positive, and I had to reconfigure my mind to look at fun in different ways that I would in my previous life. So I was always trying to have this type of fun, and I started to make fun the goal over the schoolwork, and also, in your gen eds, what they call them, your general classes, most of those classes don't count towards the degree. You won't use those classes in most of your experience when you get out into the work field. So most of those classes I didn't even care about to start out with, but I was always trying to make sure I'm having fun, because one thing about me, I was a social butterfly. I'm just out there talking it up, meeting, connecting, and that's what I was good at. And I put so much time into that by the end of the sophomore year, I had got the letter that I lost financial funding. I was on financial aid, and I had funding that I was a part of going through my school year journey. And at the end of my sophomore year, I lost that money because of my grades had failed. So they were basically saying the next semester you can come back, but we're not paying for it. So I'm like, damn. That whole summer I had to work, and I had to basically form up an appeal letter to get funding back for those junior and senior semesters. But I realized that, like, damn, man, my grades flew under the water. They were done for. And, I remember coming to college, no one said, yo, if you go down this path of just turning up heavy, you becoming a man, and you just worry about your social life so much that you don't focus on your grades and all the schoolwork you need to put in, you're going to send yourself down the path where you're going to be out of here. I had some friends. There's a lot of dudes I knew that they flunked out, or, they just didn't have good grades, and eventually they just dropped out of school and they never finished it through. And, it's not like a knock on them, but this is the path I seen coming for me if I didn't make a turnaround. Luckily, I made that change, man. I sent that appeal letter to the school telling them about my situation and, how I learned from it. And thank God they gave me the funding to keep going through my semesters, or I would have had to flunk out and just be the kid that came up here for 2 years, turned up, and went back home, and it was like I had nothing to show for. But I'm telling y'all, any incoming freshmen or sophomores, that's having fun in school, focus on your goals, man. Also remember, you matter most than anything else right now. This is your time. You alone, you're away from family. You can just focus on what you need to do, what you like to do, and start working on that. I'm not saying shy away from the fun. I'm not saying don't kick it with people, but I'm saying have a balance on that, because if you flunk out, then it's like you just wasted your parents' money or your own money. Especially if you went in debt for it, taking out student loans, So definitely get something in return. Secondly, I want to talk about being out of shape or gaining weight. We all know about the freshman 15 that we gain when you go to school, because we all know you get that meal plan, and you up in there, you can go to the meal plan all day, every day. I mean, you can go to the student cafeteria all day and every day, and you got your meal plan, you got your unlimited swipe, so you're just swiping it up, eating it up. That mixed with partying hard, drinking, smoking, you got the munchies when you're high, when you're drinking. After you drinking, you need to eat, you need to put something on your body, mixed with that with alcohol, and you ain't working out, you're going to get out of shape. I've seen countless people come into college with that high school physique, leave college, drop out of college, or just end up, graduating overweight or just not the same shape they was. Me, again, I'm telling y'all from personal experience. I noticed my junior year, this was something I had to deal with. I had to realize that I was on the pathway. No, it probably was my senior year. I had to turn it around midway senior year. I was on the pathway, man. I'm in the mirror looking at my gut. I'm like, man, I'm getting some weight on me. I came up to school, what, $160, $150? I left 190. Luckily, I had to turn that weight, that most of that, that fat that was coming in. I got back in the gym and I kept it together, man. But they don't tell you you're gonna come up here, man. You're gonna love it. You're gonna mostly have a meal plan for at least the first 2 years of your experience. You're gonna have a meal plan if you're living on campus. So you're gonna get free food and you're gonna just be fucking pigging out. And nobody tell you to stay in that gym. Keep that physique together, because a lot of us come into school, man, and then when you graduate and you get older, our metabolisms and our body don't keep that same frame as it once did. So it's on us to keep it together. And they don't tell you about that when they come to school. They don't tell you like, yo, you need to make sure health is a thing. Yeah, you may have health classes talking about all that, but in the marketing programs and like in the orientations, they don't tell you, yo, when you come here, make sure you're eating healthy, make sure you're hitting the gym, because we know you're about to have fun. Because especially for the kids the ones who got the potential to just be like the popular kids, and you can get around anybody and socialize it up, and you want to be known for that lit guy. You especially need to keep yourself in shape, because it is not easy, the journey that you're about to take. You're going to be everywhere. You're going to be saying yes to everything. And your body needs to be physically in shape, man. Especially as you're getting older now. That high school physique that you had, it ain't gonna be there where you could just be eating junk food all day and you still ain't gaining no weight, Once you get grown and you start to, especially get over 21, oh man, it's gonna be something that needs to become routine. You staying in the gym, you eating right, because it can all go under. It can all go under, dude. So keep yourself in good shape, and hopefully you don't do that by gaining too much weight and now you're just real heavy when you're leaving school and you're not even proud of what you look like no more, because you don't know where the time then went, and next thing you know, you just overinflated on yourself, and it's like, come on. So pay attention to that when y'all going to school. And lastly, they don't talk about this, but they don't talk about your mental health. When you're coming into college and you're finally living on your own, especially if you're far from home, they don't talk about the isolation that you have to deal with of being on your own and going through the problems that you're going through on your own. No one's going to be there to hold your hand. You're going to have to be there for yourself. So that means you're going to always have to put yourself first, because you matter most. In school, it got to the point for me where I was in and out of depression mode. I had modes where I was depressed because I was putting everybody, ahead of me. I was putting everybody ahead of me. I was looking for validation outside of myself. I was the yes man. And, I was putting social goals over school goals, of getting good grades, of working on projects, doing side things that I wanted to get started. All that stuff came into my mental and messing with me when I was realizing I wasn't accomplishing it. It was a mode again in college where, I was just not even locked in on the work that I needed to do and the stuff that I wanted to try, because I got in this habitual routine of doing the same thing and going out to the same places, hanging with the same people. I always was telling myself I need to break the routines and habits that I'm doing, because there are new experiences out there that I can have for myself and grow from. And I see a lot of people to this day, they get depressed and they get in these depressed modes and seasons. And then you start to really analyze what they got going on. And you're like, oh, they don't got much going on. This person said he wanted to do that and this, but I don't see this person making no effort for that. But he's always at the bar or they always at the smoke session. And it's like, I could tell why these people are depressed now, man. I rarely see anyone who are achieving their goals, making good strides and accomplishments in school, be depressed. Yes, there are people that go through this stuff and it probably hits everyone. I'm not trying to isolate anyone out, but I have a assumption that the people who are depressed the most are the people who don't focus on themselves the most and their goals and their aspirations the most. It's usually the people that give themselves out to the world more. They're the yes mans. They're always at the function. They always got the FOMO, as they say, and you find that these people are truly depressed, but they have no strength to disconnect themselves from the social world that they built for themselves to go figure out the stuff that they internally want to do. And they go through these depressive states, man, where their mental health not good. And a lot of kids, I hate to say it, man, they don't need to be alone starting off. They're not mature enough to be living on their own, because you see some of these people, they don't have no pullback from anything. Some people, in my experience of when I was in college, was just going everywhere, doing everything, and it was like they had no control over themselves, where it was like maybe they need to live with their parents still, because all this freedom that they have now, they can't even move through it and, you know, have a good balance of work, fun, and play, because they just all over the place right now. It was some people that was a complete mess, man, and they had to go through some hard times of sitting down, being depressed, realizing like, damn, I didn't do nothing for myself, you know? So just think about that, y'all. You know, you need to focus on your mental health, your physical health, and achieving your grades and goals that you want to do through that experience. Keep those three things at the front of everything that you're doing while having fun, and I think you can be in a good position to not put yourself down the depression rabbit hole, you know, where you burning out, you failing classes, you gaining weight, you're going broke, you know, you're mentally just not the same no more, because you don't know who you are, because you've been saying yes to everything and you don't know what you really stand for. There's some people that don't stand for nothing. They think that saying yes to everything is just a way to be a free spirit, and, you know, and they learn the hard way. They go down this long path of depression, and they realize that, you know, some of the stuff that they claim they stood for, they never did stand for it. They just wanted to be the person that the group could depend on, and they took for themselves in the long run of it. They took for themselves, and, you know, I see this happening with a lot of college kids. In my experience, I've seen that happening with a lot of college kids, even myself, and I think it's something that should be talked about more. And is this something I want to keep at the forefront of this conversation? They don't tell you about the negative things that you could go and do while in college. But yeah, man, that's just something I wanted to share with y'all. Leave a like, comment what you think about this video. Tell me some of the things that you had to go through in your college experience. I'd love to hear what y'all got to say. But that's all I got for now, man. Until the next time.